click on this option here, go to UV Image Editor. Now, what we have to do is we have to tell Blender how we want to unwrap this cube. So we're going to make it basically spread it out over 2D coordinates. And the first thing I'm going to do is go into Image and Open Image. And I'm going to find a picture of, let's see, a dye that I have. Green dye, PNG is actually black, I don't know what's called green. Anyway, okay. Green dye. And for some reason it's not appearing. There we go. Alright. So now I need to put seams on this cube. And I'm going to click on this option right here, which allows me to go into edge select mode, so I can right click on the edges and select them instead of selecting the vertices. And I'm going to put seams in this cube so that when I unwrap it, it forms this 2D UV layout. Alright, so take a look at this this image, and select which face we want to be on, say this one side. And we have to put seams on the edges that we want to split apart. So that's basically on this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, and so on and so forth. So if we pick this side, we need to put seams on the edges perpendicular to these edges here. We don't want to put seams on these edges, otherwise they'll split. So we need to select this edge, this one, this one, this one, keeping in mind that this top face will be our one side. And then we have to, let's see, put an edge seam right here for this edge. Put a seam here and a seam. That's already done. For these edges, we need to put a seam right here for this edge here. And that should do it. Now hit Control E on the keyboard and select Mark Seam. Press A on the keyboard to select all the vertices. Hit U and hit Unwrap. And now notice that we now have our unwrapped cube. And it's not in the right orientation, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit R on my keyboard to rotate and hit 180 to rotate it 180 degrees. And it just so happens to be lined up in exactly where we want it to. Now, when we click down here and go into Textured, you notice now that we have our six-sided die with the textures in exactly the right place. Alright. Now, this texture is not actually applied to the cube yet. It's just used as a visual a visual sort of guide right now. It's not actually applied to the cube. So to actually get it on the cube, what I'm going to do is pull this panel over, and I'm going to go into my textured, actually materials panel, and I'm going to just create a basic material. The default one is alright for now. I'm just going to call it dye. And now I'm going to go into my textured panel, and I'm going to leave this on default. I'm going to call it dye texture. And now what I'm going to do is okay, I'm going to go into here, click on type, and I'm going to select image or movie. And I'm going to select this box here because this image is already in the file. I'm going to click green dye, and I'm going to click where is it? It's kind of screwed up here. It's all in the wrong order. I'm not used to being in this order. Image mapping. Here we go. And we're going to put it onto oh, that's not the right thing. Mapping, and go into UV. So we use these UV coordinates that we've already set up. Color, so it'll show up as the color of the cube. And I'm just going to go ahead and save this file right now, in case Blender has a crash, which hopefully doesn't happen as much now that it's a stable version. Cute. Alright. Save that. You know, just save often in case you have to crash and you don't lose work. Alright, now, if I go hit F12 on my keyboard to go into my camera, whoop, actually, okay, hit 0 on my keyboard to go into my camera view. If you're using a regular keyboard with a numpad, hit 0 on the numpad. And if you're using a laptop and have emulate numpad selected as I did before, then hit 0 on your number row to go right into the camera view. Then press F12 and you get a render. And there it is, a die. Now, the lighting is not very good. You can't even see one side of the die because it's all black, it's shadowed. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. So there you have it. There's a simple way to just texture a cube. And now, let's see, I gotta find how much time I have left on my recording. And why is it not coming up? There you go. Okay, it's already too long, but that's alright. I'm just gonna go ahead and stop right here, and next time I'll hopefully come back with something a little more interesting. We'll see if my video compresses properly, and I have to maybe change some settings in my video recording, stuff like that. But alright, see you later.